Hello folks, welcome to Wake Up Call. I'm your host, producer Al Wilson. Tonight is Cinco de Mayo, Jawohl. In any case, sorry I wasn't able to make the prior show. An issue came up of major financial importance to me, and that is kind of important because this show and mostly the research that I do cost me some money, the travel, and ultimately it may cost me my life, but hey, so far so good. And you know, a lot of people just think their life is too good to risk it. But, you know, for those who have a life, I figure I'm expendable, you know. So you still have to face some facts. Believing what you want to believe can make you feel just as good as though it were really true, but it doesn't keep you and your family alive or out of pain or out of suffering. And that's what we're getting down to now. It's no longer way off in the future and you can just live in a fantasy land. It's upon us now. I got a letter a couple days ago from the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union. Okay, I don't look like the kind of guy to subscribe to that, and I'm not. However, about a quarter of a century ago, a little longer, I joined that organization because I knew from what was going on in my church that there was going to be a need to speak to a lawyer and an organization that has some credibility and experience in dealing with civil rights. I mean, when it finally came down to it, they wouldn't even let me talk to a lawyer. I don't know if because I was white or what, but the bottom line is just that they could have stopped this United Nations quiet, low-key, long-term, over many years, invasion of America. It would have been easy to stop them then. Yes, our politicians know about it. They've agreed to, they've arranged for America to be surrendered. Now they've got to put on a good show or you'd kill them. So they got to, you know, it's both. They use like the good cop, bad cop routine. You know, they make you think one of them is your friend, the other one is not. You know, whatever. Democrat, Republican, they're two sides of the same coin. They're working together. They're handed scripts to read. Mostly, the most important thing is for you to believe that there's a way to do it through our misrepresentatives. There's not. You have to do it locally, or maybe the military needs to do what happens in some other countries when it becomes hopelessly corrupt. You know, the guys that are coming back with their hair falling out and their gums bleeding and their teeth falling out, that's radiation poisoning. They're dumping, I think it's something like 49 times the amount of radiation already in Iraq that happened in the bombing of Hiroshima. I mean, our soldiers are being dusted with depleted uranium right in their own barracks. Of course, the government, so as not to have to treat them, you know, says, if you think you're sick, you're crazy. And we're not going to cover a bit of it. Our military is being treated terribly. Of course, in the military, the bravest die first. Those who love their country and are willing to sacrifice for it die first in the military. In any case, I got this letter in the mail from the ACLU asking me to renew my subscription. I had them put the overhead projector we call Elmo. Here, I was going to show it to you. Then I forgot that this year, for the first time in 25 or 26 years, I did throw it out because I've been sending it back to them with those nasty things, just saying, you know, bleep yourself. You know, you could have saved this country and your own life and your own families, but you screwed up. But now, I mean, the death camps are already built, and you don't want to believe it. You're going to believe what you want to believe, so they just say no, and then naturally you want to believe that, so you do. But the fact is, they're still built, and they are intended to be used. Now, I want to say this. I had said only Ron Paul would come clean with you about some important things, but Alex Jones, no matter if you like his tone of voice, no matter if you think that his website's a little bit busy and complicated, the bottom line is this guy is putting his life on the line. He has very good contacts. He has many more, and I would say for the most part in some areas better contacts than I do in a lot of things. And he has full time. He's getting funding. I can't even get, even a private courier can't reach me with any money. So I'm limited as to how much time and all I can spend on it. Indeed, years ago, like in the Hollywood Riviera there, Redondo Beach area that I lived in, when 17,000 people demonstrated regarding me, and that was coincided with other areas around the nation, over 100,000 people, or was it over 300,000 people? Well, in any case, a number of people, for an unknown person like myself, demonstrated about me, and of course the local paper there in Redondo Beach had to write a story. 17,000 people in that town only, alone were demonstrating. And so they wrote, oh, page after page after page after page. So the daughter of the famous U.S. congressman back then, Unruh, Jesse Unruh, Ada, invited me to breakfast and asked me to read the newspaper. So I read page after page after page. Finally, when I was done, I said, all this talk about this demonstration, where they marched, and where from where to where, and would not once saying what it was about, even what it was about. And I said, it doesn't say what it's about. And she looked at me straight in the eye and said, it's about you, Al. And apparently a lot of people wanted me to seek political office. They suspected that I would do what needed to be done, what Ron Paul, I believe, would do, what John F. Kennedy would do that got him killed, make the Federal Reserve Bank federal instead of private, and just calling it federal, like Federal Ammunition or Federal Express. It's private. Not one bit of your income tax money goes to paying for anything in this country. It all goes as to interest to the private bankers as part of the Rothschild Money Trust in London. Rothschild being third cousin of the Rockefellers here in the United States. Those two are a critical link between the anti-American, anti-freedom forces in Europe and those here at home. Well, we have so little time. I've got to think about what, okay. I want to say go to Infowars.com. Just understand that I've vetted Alex Jones. He's given you the absolute truth. Some of the most incredible things you'll read and hear him say are mainstream stories that were cut out, edited by the Wall Street controlled federal censor, CIA, etc., of the editors of the press. Stories that weren't only got a local airing once and then forever was lost. Like at Waco, where where Koresh had gotten it in the local Waco press that our Secretary of the Treasury, Lloyd Bentsen, had a huge illegal amphetamine production ring in Waco. Or then like later, that George Bush and Bill Clinton are business partners in illegal cocaine trafficking with the J. Rockefeller, Senator J. Rockefeller. Huge cocaine cartel. Over 300 witnesses from Mena, Arkansas, that were supposed to testify before Congress about their cocaine trafficking cartel were murdered before they could talk before Congress. I mean, died of natural causes, multiple gunshot wounds, decapitation with machete, things like this. Natural. You get your head cut off with a machete, it's natural to die. So natural causes. Like the CIA says, give us the coroner and we will control the town. That's how they do it. So it's above suspicion that way. So then they brought in the 300 backup witnesses, and they all died too before they could testify before Congress. Well, I could go on and on about how the thing with Attorney Starr, not one of the major issues, like for instance of Clinton, this little sex thing had nothing to do with it. The murder of Vince Foster in Hillary's apartment with Bill and Hillary was a part of it. Also, the selling of all of America's military secrets to the Red Chinese by Bill Clinton for a $300 million re-election campaign contribution. Well, let's see now. Let me, where is that? Oh, let's try this. That would be that one. I've got so many things I want to play, there's not enough time. But,
Is this unusual? Robert Felix, author of Not Finding...
No, that's not the one I wanted. What the hell? Okay.
So important to focus attention on what some legal scholars that I've talked to are saying to me, that they personally are very concerned about this NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, that was signed into United States law on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2011, by President Barack Obama during his holiday vacation in Hawaii. And legal scholars not only do not think that the piece in here that I'm going to talk about was necessary, many of them have said to me they consider it dangerous, that this is a dangerous step for Congress to be fooling around with American civil liberties when it comes to the so-called war on terrorism. And in his signing statement that we didn't talk about quite as much last week, President Obama said that he was putting his signature to the NDAA a bit reluctantly, but because, quote, the act authorizes $662 billion in funding for the defense of the United States and its interests abroad, close quote. Further, the president wrote, quote, despite having serious reservations with certain provisions that regulate the detention, interrogation, and prosecution of suspected terrorists, I want to clarify that my administration will not authorize the indefinite military detention without trial of American citizens, close quote, which, George, when you take those words and you just turn around what he's saying, he's essentially affirming that this NDAA now makes it possible, and he's just saying that he as president in this administration will not do this. But it means that the law is hanging there over everyone's head now as a potential, and I would say a potential abuse. And that indefinite detention of suspected terrorists, American or foreign, in the United States territory under military authority are described under NDAA Subtitle D, Counterterrorism, Sections 1021 and 1022. And at earthfiles.com, I have scanned the first page of this bill. It's H.R. 1540. That is the NDAA, many pages with this section, Subtitle D, Counterterrorism, that focuses.
At that point, that's why America gets not a single drop of oil from the Arabian Peninsula. All of its oil comes from the rest of the world, Nigeria, Venezuela, Canada, you name it, it gets it from whoever it can get its oil from, but not Saudi Arabia.
Let me just read from page 9 here, and I'll be brief. The Rockefeller file is not fiction. It is compact, powerful, and frightening. The drive of the Rockefellers and their allies to create a one-world government combining super-capitalism and communism under the same tent, all under their control. Do I mean conspiracy? Yes, I do. I am convinced there is such a plot, international in its scope, generations old in planning, and incredibly evil in intent. That's Congressman Larry McDonald, 1975. In 81, he called for a comprehensive congressional investigation of the Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission on September 1.
And he had a refocused one-world strategy for the whole thing. David came straight out.
Rockefeller.
In his memoir, he wrote, quote, some even believe we are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure, one world, if you will. If that's the charge, I stand guilty and I am proud of it.